MBC, inspiring Uganda.
Happy International Women's Day, and just a reminder, women run the world. Do not forget that. Now, thanks for tuning in to catch the latest, biggest stories in the local, regional, and international business. I'm your host, Maureen Bavidie, and without further ado, here's a sneak peek at what's making headlines. China Water Engineering and Electrical Corporation considers constructing a new spillway at Isimba Hydropower Dam. President Yoweri Museveni commissions the Kampala Flyover Lot 1 project, a major superstructure aimed at easing traffic congestion. MTN Uganda records 641.5 billion Uganda shillings in profit after tax in 2024. Uganda becomes the 20th member country of the Fund for Export Development in Africa. Let's dive into the details. In our first story, the China Water Engineering and Electrical Corporation has considered an option to construct a new spillway at Isimba Hydropower Dam as a response to the defects in the old spillways. The construction of the new spillway will come at a separate cost, which will only be determined after a physical model test is done. We have the details.
According to China Water Electrical Engineering Corporation, the excessive water volumes discharged through the spillway during the long-term flood of River Nile since 2020 brought unexpected impacts to the Isimba hydropower project. This witnessed the concrete of the buffer blocks being washed away, threatening the structural integrity of the dam. The underground investigations show threatening images of the eroded buffer blocks, which, if left unattended to, may cause havoc to the dam. Negotiations to have remedial works have for long been discussed by the relevant stakeholders, but in vain.
This one has come very short of its design life. This is why we are going through this model tests, which will prescribe or evolve some of the reasons.
The Parliamentary Committee on Environment and Natural Resources, led by Soroti City East MP Herbert Ariko, held several meetings with the stakeholders, including the employer, owner's engineer, Uganda Electricity Generation Company Limited, and the contractor China Water Electrical Corporation, to save the Euros 567 million project. The contractor CWE has been hesitant on the need to undertake a river diversion to allow a dry inspection and repair of the defected spillways.
Since it carried with it a huge amount of determination on the next courses of actions on safeguarding the dam, no matter the disagreement that they had between themselves, it had to be resolved.
After a series of negotiations, CWE bowed down to pressure to consider an option to construct another spillway. This will reduce the pressure on the existing spillways as the repair works are being undertaken.
We will continue to take our action and work very close to, and we try to complete all these defect repair works and complete this work as quick as possible. Thank you.
However, the cost of the new spillway will be determined after all the relevant tests, including physical model test, are carried out.
And then the insurance of the dam, of the spillway itself, has to be determined. When you put this together, it is not anything less than $150 million.
Because the physical model test had two crucial things that it had to deliver. One, to help us determine the actual causes of the defects and degeneration of the spillway. Two, to establish the capacity of water or the run of the river that the spillway could be able to withstand over a certain period of time.
This is not the first time the contractor CWE commits to solutions of the defects on the spillway. Professor Wang Yongtian, the Vice President of CWE, agreed with the stakeholders of short-term strategies.
But the important thing is that are we addressing the challenges we've got? The answer is yes.
This conclusion, in layman understanding, fronts a second chance to the contractor after recent investigations found that CWE lacked capacity to complete Isimba hydropower project. Uganda Electricity Generation Company Limited warned that any flooding beyond 4,000 cubic meters may be a danger to the spillways.
Now, when the members of the spillway are subjected, the material members, one, it will help determine whether or not the material that is used for the construction of the spillway was one which could withstand the pressures of the water and in what capacity and for whatever period. Number two, that the tests will reveal to us what exactly were the causes as to why the spillway degenerated much faster.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
Thank you. Mr. Gamal. Thank you.
President Yoweri Museveni officially commissioned the Kampala Flyover Lot 1 project. The multi-million-dollar superstructure in Kampala's central business district is part of government's efforts to enhance infrastructure capacity to boost performance and productivity of key sectors of the economy. Dennis Segowa reports.
After 6 years of construction at a cost of $81 million, President Yoweri Museveni has officially commissioned the Kampala Flyover Lot 1. While officiating at the launch, President Museveni lauded the Japanese government for their unwavering support towards Uganda's infrastructure development. He cited key projects such as the Ginger Nile Bridge, the newly completed flyover, and Japan's commitment to construct a new bridge at Karuma.
And as you heard, they are going to build the Karuma Bridge. So I want to thank the Japanese and congratulate them on not being selfish. But what I normally tell them is to say, you come and invest in Africa in addition to aid and support. Come and manufacture in Africa, in Uganda, so that you sell within the Ugandan market, you sell within the African market, and you sell in third-party markets like China, like America and Europe.
As the government strives to ease mobility, a proud step toward a modern capital, the citizens are urged to reciprocate by preserving the infrastructure and ensuring a clean environment.
You must observe discipline. Don't throw in the open on the roadside, because that's the biggest problem. The flooding you are talking about, what causes it? It is the blockage of the drainage. Now that we have got cameras, the police also, the KCCA should work with the police to use the police cameras to see who are Sudevi into. And we go for him and we make him pay.
The flyover project marks a major milestone in improving traffic flow in Kampala city. For years, this major junction in the heart of the city has been notorious for heavy traffic congestion, especially during rush hours.
Your Excellency, we have widened and improved the roads of a total of 2,920 meters. This is to ease the flow of traffic and mitigate the traffic jam that used to be a nuisance perpetually in this junction. Your Excellency, there are 5 signalized improved junctions, normally in ShopRite, Clock Tower, Zambia Hospital, and New Kibuli Overpass.
We have to be careful. When the road becomes better, people will speed more. So another challenge is that we need to abide by the traffic rule.
Following the commissioning, responsibility now lies with Kampala Capital City Authority to ensure proper maintenance and that the project serves its intended purpose.
Let us work together to maintain this infrastructure by observing road discipline, protecting public assets, and embracing a culture of responsibility.
The flyover is part of Government of Uganda's strategy to enhance infrastructural capacity to boost performance and productivity of key sectors of the economy. Dennis Igoa for UBC Business.
MTN Uganda sustained a positive trajectory across all business segments in 2024, registering double-digit growth across all revenue lines. The telco recorded 641.5 billion Uganda shillings, a surge of 30.1% in profit after tax. We have more. MTN Uganda's profit after tax surged to 641 billion Uganda shillings in 2024 calendar year, reflecting an increase of 20.2% in revenue performance. The audited financial statement indicates that total revenue hit 3.1 trillion Uganda shillings, translating to 19% growth on an annual basis.
We have invested over the period about 418 billion shillings, which has increased our 4G and 5G coverage to 87.9 and 15.3% respectively. And I think today we are proud to note that our 5G coverage is the most expansive in this country. When we were exiting 2023, we had about 37 sites. And as we speak now, we have over 538 5G sites here in Uganda being provided by ourselves.
The steady growth in revenue is anchored on positive performance across all the company's businesses and the stability of Uganda's economy.
Of course, transaction volumes, 26% growth, value, had a 19.1%. So we closed at 158 trillion in terms of transaction value, moving from 133 trillion. This again was predominantly driven by liquidity enhancements that we did in the market. We did recruit a number of super agents. We beefed up the value proposition for the dealers, as well as adding more trust banks on the platform. That enabled us be able to connect an additional 1,000 bank agents to be able to give liquidity to our agents.
In 2024, data revenue grew by 30.5%, voice revenue by 12.7%, overall voice subscribers grew by 13.2%. Meanwhile, the volume of mobile data transactions shot up by 26.6% to 4.3 billion Uganda shillings.
So super happy that, we have our revenue crossing over 3 trillion. Then you have your profitability, EBITDA above almost 1.7 trillion, growing at 20% year-on-year. And then PAT, profit after tax, growing at over 30% year-on-year. So the initiatives and investments we've done and the capex, you can see that the intensity is flat. So even if we increased how much we spent year-on-year, when you look at our capex over revenue for the same period, it's flat. That demonstrates, how we're able to generate more from our assets.
Looking ahead, the company is set to deepen its fintech expansion and accelerate the structural separation from the mobile money business, ensuring it continues to set the pace in digital finance. Maureen Babidie for UBC. In another development, Uganda and France have enjoyed strong bilateral and trade relations dating back to the mid-20th century. Areas of collaboration span multiple sectors, including energy, logistics, agriculture, oil and gas, water and sanitation. His Excellency Xavier Sticker, the French ambassador to Uganda, spoke to BRU on matters of business and diplomacy between France and Uganda.
For nearly 7 decades, France has remained a key development partner for Uganda, with ties continuing to strengthen. Ambassador Xavier Sticker describes the Uganda-France relationship as both mutual and symbiotic.
We stand here to know each other better and to facilitate mobility between our two countries and to build communities of shared interest. And it's actually not only about Uganda and France, but about the Ugandans and the French. In the area of trade and investment, we have a very vivid, vibrant relation.
Beyond Uganda's emerging oil and gas industry, where Total Energies is a major player, French companies have significantly invested in various sectors, particularly in water and sanitation, agriculture and manufacturing.
Investments to Uganda in majority don't come from an Asian country, they don't come from the American continent. They come from Europe, actually. They come from France, and the French companies are the first investors in Uganda. Last year, the majority, over 50% of the foreign direct investment to Uganda came from French companies, either directly or through their subsidiaries in the Netherlands or in Britain for tax reasons. But we are working on a bilateral non-double taxation agreement between Uganda and France.
As a key European Union member, France advocates for better trade policies between the EU and Uganda, particularly easing access to European markets for Ugandan exports. Uganda, being an agrarian country, has faced challenges in accessing the lucrative EU market, with the main obstacle being compliance with phytosanitary standards.
Sanitary, phytosanitary measures to make sure that we meet the standards in terms of health, safety, and so it's key for the Ugandan producers to meet those standards, and there are some programs sponsored by the European Union to help the Ugandan companies as they embark on that journey.
As the relations between France and Uganda continue to grow, Ambassador Xavier Sticker appeals to Ugandans, especially the youth, to embrace the learning of French language, which could open more opportunities for engagement in business and diplomacy.
French is the first language, the first foreign language taught in Uganda, beyond English as the national language and probably Kiswahili. But I would like to underline that as the French Embassy, we are supporting secondary education in French through a program that we launched last year. We have partnerships with a number of Ugandan universities. And this is important. We will be having next month, actually mid-March, very soon, a job fair that will bring together the French companies. I mentioned those 40 French companies in Uganda, and the Ugandan students, so that they can go there and look for job opportunities, because those French companies not only recruit in Uganda, but they recruit also for their subsidiaries worldwide. So in a sense, learning French, practicing French is a gateway for the Ugandans to those companies with a global reach.
Dennis Igoa and Juma Samba for UBC.
Now, Uganda signed and handed over the instruments of accession, officially becoming the 20th member country of the Fund for Export Development in Africa, FEDA. Meanwhile, Absa Bank Uganda, in partnership with Visa, have launched 3 premium card solutions targeting the creme de la creme of their clientele. We have more details in the corporate wrap.
Uganda has officially handed over the instruments of accession to the Fund for Export Development in Africa, FEDA, a development impact investment platform sponsored by the African Export-Import Bank, Afreximbank.
Uganda looks forward to actively contributing to FEDA's mission and to working hand in hand with our African brothers and sisters in fostering an environment conducive to increased trade, investment and shared prosperity. We are mindful that this accession is not an end in itself, but rather the beginning of a journey that will require continued dedication, mutual understanding, and commitment to our shared objectives.
At the accession ceremony held at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Marlene Ngoi, the Chief Executive Officer FEDA, highlighted the platform's mission to bridge the US $110 billion gap in the funding required to transform trade in Africa.
We want to support companies that have the ambition to become champions. So we would want to have a very strong team with a strong business plan, a strong vision, and we want to come and support that, because what we do at FEDA, which is a little bit different from the bank, is we don't just lend money. We're actually an investor, so that means that once I've invested, I'm there at the board meeting, we're monitoring the plan, we adjust it.
Despite Africa's vast resources, endowments and connecting markets, the continent has the lowest level of intra-regional trade in the world. In another development, Absa Bank Uganda has expanded its card portfolio with the launch of exclusive Infinity, Signature and Business cards.
So, credit cards have existed before. This is a credit card that has enhanced features and enhanced rewards for the user.
So you will appreciate that, in society, people are different and they have got different needs. So what we have done is come up with a card that is bespoke. So it speaks or responds directly to different categories of clients based on the needs they have.
Chad Pollock, the Vice President, Visa East Africa, underscored the importance of innovation in the financial sector, noting that such advancements are crucial for boosting financial inclusion.
When we look at alternative payments, I think there's a lot of opportunity for more competition, and competition makes everyone better. It's really driving more solutions for those that need it the most. So you think about the small businesses, you think about the youth, you think about people whose lives are effectively changing at the pace that technology is happening. I think that all of us are really playing a part in how people can now transact, and we're bringing more people into the financial space, and for me that's the win.
The newly launched cards are tailored for high net worth individuals seeking exclusive financial and lifestyle benefits.
We need to prepare these women. Okay, if we fast track them to leadership, how do we prepare them for leadership? What must you know? How many of us know the policy making process as a leader? So like a board member, for instance, my role is policy making. They'll give you financial statements to read, they'll give you policies to read, they'll give you strategies to analyze and give feedback. Are you able to do that? Because I can tell you, as someone who started as a foot soldier, that journalist who runs to the field, the content you engage with is very different from the content and context of someone in leadership. Now you're a manager, you're managing people, you have to make certain kinds of decisions, who to recruit, who to punish, who to fire, who to warn. But you must also understand why they've behaved the way they are. Then when you go to a board, it's a different ball game. So we must be prepared for that. I know there are several, maybe not so many, but there are people out there who offer these trainings. Do we have resources? Are we willing to invest in ourselves? Yes, because also this profession is about self-investment.
Now, as we know, it's not business without showcasing the beauty of our country. In our Sounds of Business tonight, we feature the Kampala Flyover project. The megastructure was constructed to cut the notorious traffic congestion at the Queensway Junction that leads in and out of Kampala. Let's have a look. As we celebrate International Women's Day, we'd like to leave a message to young women and women in general. Dream big, work hard, and never let anyone limit your potential. Education, confidence, and resilience will open doors for you, so go after your goals fearlessly. Otherwise, it was lovely having you on the show. I'm Maureen Babidia. See you next week.
UBC, inspiring Uganda. Looking for instant excitement? The Uganda National Lottery Spin for Cash game is now available online. Wherever you are, you can join the excitement for just 500, 1,000 and 2,000 Uganda shillings. Don't miss out. Register now on www.nationallottery.go.ug for a chance to win your share of 2 billion instantly. What are you waiting for? Play Spin for Cash now, anytime, anywhere. Ituba is the proud operator of the Uganda National Lottery.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.